New Garnier Men Acno Fight Gentle Cleanser. ये है gentle on skin, tough on pimples.
Well, that is an astonishing batting effort. Sahibzada Farhan and Fakhar Zaman with the highest partnership in all men's T20 World Cup history, and our Pakistan on to something here. 212 is what they have on the board in Pallekele, and 147 becomes the magic number for the rest of the night. If they can keep Sri Lanka to 147 or below, Pakistan go through to the semi-finals of this World Cup. Welcome to ESPN Cricket 4 Timeout, powered by Garnier Men. Continuing company of Varun Aaron in our studio, and Varun, we rightly go straight to Urooj, Mumtaz. Farveez, Maharoof, welcome back to you as well. But Urooj, wow.
Spectacular, sensational. You can throw all the superlatives, all the adjectives out to the one person who's held Pakistan afloat throughout. To score 200s, yes, the first one you can say maybe against a slightly inexperienced side, but today when the pressure was on, Pakistan stacked all the odds against them. They wanted to bowl first. It's not like they wanted to bat first, but on a wicket where he scores 100, yes, partnered at the other end by Fakhar Zaman's brilliance as well, but absolutely brilliant, incredible, and the hopes alive at the half mark, truly, especially because of one gentleman, that is Sahibzada Farhan.
Yes, it will now take a Sri Lankan total higher than what they've scored in their previous Super 8 games for Pakistan to not be in the semi-finals of this World Cup. Farveez, your thoughts on that innings and the surface?
Yeah, the knock was superb. I think one of the best knocks I've seen in the recent past, almost similar to what Harry Brook played early on in the tournament, and nothing taking away. When the chips are down, when the team needed him most, stood up and made sure he gave a good start, and has started the think tank as well, promoting Fakhar Zaman. Those complemented each other really well. And good start. And about the pitch, I said, Pallekele pitches, if the pitch is good, it's one of the best pitches to bat. The ball is getting on beautifully. Outfield is lightning fast. And Pakistan made the full use of it in the first 16 overs, I should say.
Yeah, there are layers to unpack in this, and that's an important thread from Farveez, because 176 for no loss at 15.5. That's when the first wicket fell. The last 25 balls, 36 for 8. Whether or not that makes a difference is something we come to in a bit. But Varun, first, just on the batting, some of the shot making through that stand was just breathtaking.
I have to quote the great Wasim Akram. He said on comms, I want to know who dropped Farhan from this team. Fakhar from this team. And unbelievable scenes. The way he played, I think Fakhar, the way he set up that whole innings took the pressure off Sahibzada Farhan. Obviously somebody who has had a brilliant tournament, but for once, just for somebody else to play the same style of cricket with him was unbelievable. The shot making, Sri Lanka actually were trying all tricks of the trade to stop them, to get their wicket. Just didn't happen. Tried to go wide. Fakhar Zaman played those unbelievable pickup shots right from outside off. But at the end of the day, like you rightly pointed out, it was just two men, and the rest was just a telephone number.
Yeah, it does not make for pretty reading, the rest of what has followed in the Pakistan innings, but we probably can't give enough chops to that opening partnership. But Urooj, that combination, the exuberance, the experience, all of that coming together to take Pakistan to this place, what liberation can do?
Massive work, massively well for everybody, in fact. And you could see at this one point when Fakhar actually got his 50 up and the camera panned to the dugout, there was Nafe punching the air, the Saim Ayub, who's been made to sit out, is punching the air. You could just tell what this meant to that entire dugout in terms of what the world's been asking of, and putting the right personnel in the right positions, and giving them all the luxury and the authority to go out and deliver and sort of put their repertoire in place on a good surface against a good bowling attack as well. But they held the fort, they held their own, they both dovetailed brilliantly with the right and left hand combination. And some of the shots that they manufactured, you used the word correctly, breathtaking it truly was.
Yeah, there was there are some shots in that innings I don't even think can properly be bracketed. There's a smash slice almost, I don't know if that's the correct way of putting it, that Farhan hit at one point. There was Shadab's scoop smash of sorts towards the end. But when you look at Sahibzada Farhan, is it fair to say he is the best opener in this World Cup And what stands out to you?
Without a doubt, 2 World Cup centuries in a single edition. That's unbelievable. If you've seen the World Cup through these years, nobody has simplified batting the way he simplified, especially up top. Doesn't complicate things too much. Good power hitting. We're seeing good power hitting after a long time, and Pakistan have unearthed a gem.
Yeah, he also breaks an all-time World Cup record. Not just the 2 centuries, but also goes past Virat Kohli's mark of 319 for the most runs by a batter at one edition of the Men's T20 World Cup. He has more than 380 now. And who knows, Pakistan might have a game or two more to play. Farveez, as good as that was, thoughts on the Sri Lankan bowling effort?
Yeah, I thought it was quite flat to start with. Not only the bowlers, I thought even the body language of the fielders around the 30-yard circle wasn't the normal. The energy levels wasn't there, which I saw in the early stages of the competition. So that's understandable because what's been going through in the last couple of days that would have definitely affected the team. But hats off to the team in the last 4 rows. They actually stood up after Dushman Chamira dismissed Fakhar Zaman 15th over. Then they picked up 7 more wickets. So they kept a plan. They kept on persisting with that plan, and it worked for a certain extent. But overall, you just have to give the credit to the Pakistani batters. More than Sri Lankan bowlers bowling bad, I thought the Pakistan almost batted superbly.
But just the sense of energy, Varun, from Sri Lanka. There's a caught behind review that's not been taken. We saw some lapses in the field. There was a catch that Velalage dropped and almost took a while before going back to the ball. A sense of a team that has checked out, which can happen at this stage.
I think they were like a deer in front of headlights with the onslaught of both the opening partners. There was nowhere to hide on the field, and sometimes that can happen to a unit. I think they just took too long to gather themselves, go to plan B. They should have gone to plan B slightly earlier, but at the end of the day, when somebody comes at you so hard, it's not easy to gather your senses and try and counteract that. It took them a long time, but when they did counteract it, it worked out really well.
Urooj, as brilliant or as faultless as nearly 80% of that innings was, your thoughts on how much the last 25 balls and a possible 15 odd runs left behind could hurt Pakistan?
Potentially, because again, remember, we're talking about that 65 run margin. 147 could have been slightly less. In terms of a margin, could have been slightly more of a cushion. At one point, Pakistan was looking at to 130 to 135. In fact, I was sitting with my brother when Fakhar got out, and he looked at me and said, well, now winning 4.1 overs are crucial, because it's not going to be easy to obviously continue the onslaught that Fakhar and Sajjad Farhan have been. They've been out there for 16 odd overs. Now becomes important because you don't want to be ending up in a situation where every new batter comes in, has a hit, but doesn't really get the runs. And that's exactly how the last 4.1 odd overs have panned out. So the 25 last balls, Pakistan definitely have lost scoring opportunities. But having said that, they still have runs on the board. They've done their first half very, very brilliant, and now it's on to their bowling.
All right, so let's set up that chase quickly before it begins. Varun, Sri Lanka have struggled, and that would be an understatement, against spin in the 2 Super 8 games. I think it's 13 wickets lost between New Zealand and England. Pakistan, of course, have a lot of spin, but Shaheen's role in the power play, having struck form in the last game?
Massive, because the moment Shaheen takes a wicket, especially if he gets Pratham Nissanka out, the man who's taking strike, that completely sets Sri Lanka back a long way, especially when the middle order is going to be exposed to spin early on. And Pakistan have some really good spinners. I think it's uphill task for Sri Lanka, but then again, it's that 176 mark, that 147 mark, which Pakistan are going to have their eye on.
Yeah, when they met at the Asia Cup in what was a decisive game for both teams, it was Shaheen who struck and got both Nissanka and Kusal Mendes in that outing, and that proved decisive. Urooj, Mumtaz, what would your power play bowling template be?
Yeah, I think Shaheen was phenomenal in that previous game against England. And I made this comment then as well. It was almost that he came out with a vengeance to prove a point, didn't celebrate in his original fashion. And the one thing that he did well was he tried the first couple of deliveries. In fact, the first one he pitched it outside across to Salt. But then he tried the first couple of deliveries. What he does, pitch the ball up if there is any swing. When there wasn't any swing, he was very, very quick to hit that good length and then take the ball away off the seam. So I think if Shaheen can adjust to what the wicket will be like, if there's no swing, come back to hit those good straps, just try and hit top of off, and then ask the batters to score. Because obviously, yes, Sri Lanka will come out to maybe just spoil the party looking at 147. because obviously for Sri Lanka as well, the pressure will be in order to go for this chase, which they will primarily, but they'll have that 147 in the back of their mind. If they go for this chase, there's a chance that they can get bundled out. But Shaheen, I think, will have to be very careful not to over pitch the delivery in searching for that swing. If it's not there, come back to hit those good length areas very quickly. Also, he doesn't have Saim at the other end, which sometimes can be his bowling change. So I think Naseem Shah will come in, take the new ball from the other end. But again, I said this in that pre-show, don't have Usman Tariq in the museum. Please bring him out, get him into the act early, because he has been a prime spin wicket taker.
Yeah, just the one instance of Usman Tariq bowling in the first 10 overs of an innings in this World Cup so far. Farveez, my notepad's out. You know that means only one thing. Prediction, and there's no either or this time.
Sri Lanka to spoil the party.
By just a bit or by comfortably so?
Probably I will say about 175, between 175 180.
All right, okay. Urooj?
Oh, well, I'm banking Pakistan. It's a long shot, but I think Pakistan, by the barest of margins, might just pull through.
So I'm clocking in 145, 146.
143, 144. Nissanka goes early to Shaheen, and it's Pakistan's game.
Varun Aaron.
Pakistan to win and Sri Lanka get 145.
So Pakistan qualify by 2 runs. You know, I'm glad. I was hoping I'll get to say that, you know, I think it goes right to the end. Sri Lanka have 1 wicket left. They're 2 runs away from 147. But 2 of you have already said that, so you don't need me to add. Thank you so much. Whichever way this ends, this is going to be a fascinating end to the evening. I look forward to your company then. Urooj, Farveez, thank you so much for your time. Varun, be back soon. And you join us then whenever this Sri Lankan innings ends. One way or the other, we will have had ourselves a great game to look back on from Pale-Khele. Will it be Pakistan in the semis or will New Zealand manage to go through? Join us at the end on ESPN Cricket Info Timeout, powered by Garnier Men.
New Garnier Men Acno Fight Gentle Cleanser. ये है gentle on skin, tough on pimples.